What if I told you there were 5 movies released this year that made me question my own sanity? Well, consider this list a warning movie for what not to play when you have the friends over. As Peter Parker once said, go get me some cookies with nuts in them so we can sit down and enjoy the top 5 worst movies of 2023. For number 5, unfortunately, we have the inevitable DC film, Blue Beetle. But you know what's crazy? I can point out the root of the problem. Blue Beetle's Achilles heel, if you will. The script. The characters are terrible. The villain is one note. I don't even remember the guy's name. Like, I'm not a kid anymore, but like, I want to leave the theater thinking, I gotta get an action figure of that guy. In fact, every single detail of this film is carbon copied from an Iron Man movie or a Spider-Man movie. Almost the entirety of the villain's character is just the plot of Iron Man 2. In fact, I've seen this movie before, in 2010. The script is just so brain dead. The dad dies of a heart attack, and 5 minutes later, they play Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart. And then we end off the entire movie by the Scarab telling the main character he has a boner. I genuinely lost brain cells watching this movie. Number 4 is unfortunately, once again, a superhero film, but not a DC one. Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This one I put higher than Blue Beetle for one reason. You broke my heart. I feel so bad for the people working on this film, especially the VFX team. I don't know if this can be applied, but RIP. I don't know how they could have survived. Could you imagine getting off of your 5th Disney Plus project and being told the next film is pretty much after the first 5 minutes only recorded on a green screen? But what hurts most is there are good things in this movie. Like Majors and Paul Rudd are banger actors in this. Like Majors just had such a fun job doing Kang. I love it. Can't wait to see his future work. And there are some beautiful shots here, but other than that, it's just nothing. Both the second and third Ant-Man movies were both literally made to be nothing films. Bridge films, if you will. Endgame is coming out soon. Ant-Man and the Wasp will have a little explanation in there. But that's it. It's not really an Ant-Man film. It's sort of like a Avengers 0.5 film. And then you have the third one, and it's just made to be a Kang prequel. I genuinely love the first one, and they have yet to recreate what they had in that film. Also, us MODOK fans deserved better. Number 3 is a strange pick, I'll admit. And I gotta be honest here, I never got around to doing a full-blown review for this one because I watched it months after it released. But Scream 6 is possibly the most narcissistic movie I've ever seen. And I know that's such a weird thing to say about it, but I swear, during every scene, you could practically hear the executives in charge of the franchise touching themselves in the corner of every shot. Not actually, but what could I actually mean by that? Well, for those of you who have not seen the movie, Scream 6 is a Scream movie where they mention Scream. They're fans of Scream. They love Scream. In universe. I'm not talking about the actors or the directors. There's actually a moment where the villains reveal themselves and they're just big Scream fans. Scream 1 is just playing in the background. They just explain what's gonna happen at the end of the movie, and then that is what happens. The kills are bad. The plot is incredibly obvious. By the end of the movie, you're just gonna be frustrated. And you know what? The entirety of the film is just telling you to watch the first one. So do that. Just watch the first one. For number 2, Indy. Why you gotta do this to me? I thought I made it clear last time with the damn aliens. Quit doing this wacko shit. You had me believing you changed for the better with that god tier opening scene. Guys, Indiana Jones in the last dial, cursed dial, something time dial. It's a time machine. The first scene is like a train robbery thing. Super good scene. Loved it. Everything after this is just garbage. A Nazi taking a time machine to replace Hitler after he killed himself. What? This is not it. Now, I can do with a silly plot. That's no problem. The main problem is Indy himself. One of the first scenes, bad guys break into his treasury. He's a professor at this college. What does our hero Indiana Jones do? He calls the police. Okay. Well, of course, the criminals, they shoot the gun at the phone, so he can't call the police. Well, what does our hero do next? He runs outside to contact the police, and he runs over to a cop, and he just goes, officer, please. What? They took Indiana Jones and took out the Indiana. It's just Mr. Jones. In fact, it's just Mr. Ford. This is just what Harrison Ford in his day-to-day life. This isn't Indiana Jones. happens. He's not calling the cops. In fact, his goddaughter and bootleg short round pretty much take over the entirety of the movie. He goes on a plane. That's probably the most daring thing he does of the whole film. Like, they kind of do everything. The charm of the first three is just gone. So yeah, same as Scream. Just go watch those. Again, full review right up there. The Flash is the worst film of 2023. The Flash is a movie that has been rewritten, reshot, and recycled for years. I remember when this was first announced. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not really a fan of The Flash. I don't really get it, but I go in always with an optimistic light in my eyes. But through every little reshot and rewrite, every little crack shows with the brightest light humanly possible. When I tell you I cannot think of a single redeemable factor about this film, I'm not lying. I genuinely can't. Everything from plot holes to just unlikable characters. Batman explains the universe through a plate of spaghetti, but then we see the multiverse later on, and it's marbles. It has nothing to do with spaghetti. We see PS2 Superman graphics. The director swears, well, it wasn't bad on purpose. It's supposed to be bad. But you know what hurts the most? Do you remember Batman? Do you know Batman? Maybe you've seen the Michael Keaton movies. You know Batman, the man with the plan. The man, no matter what situation he's in, he's always got a backup plan. Well, guess what plan Batman has when his bat lasers don't work on a shield? He fucking kills himself. Yup. And do you know how this all started? Because after Barry's mom got killed, his dad happened to be at the grocery store, and he grabbed a can of soup that was too low. It was too low on the shelf. So the one camera in the entire store couldn't see him, also because he had a hat on. Oh, okay. So how do we fix this? Do we go back in time? Will we stop the murder? Well, we'll just go back in time, just stop the murder. No. Oh, okay. No. We go back in time, give the soup to the mom, which then makes Michael Keaton Batman. Well, then after this whole thing, of course, Barry learns the life lesson of you can't alter the past, because then the shit happens. So then he takes the soup back from his mom, leading to her death again. Except he doesn't learn his lesson, because instead of just leaving it at that, he then goes back forward a little bit, and he takes the soup and he puts it up a shelf so the camera can see his dad's face, so his dad doesn't go to jail. Which then George Clooney becomes Batman, who quote unquote says that he would have to get paid in a lot of drugs to play Batman. What a terrific film. What a terrific film. That wasn't a complete waste of hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, the film's terrible. I have the full review right here. But you know what? Don't even watch that. To cleanse your palate, watch the top 5 best movies of 2023. It's gonna make you feel a lot better. I'll see you there.